welcome to Snake Cinema Reviews. I am your host, Prince Elias. I have Stitch, and I know it's been a while since I had snakes in the video, but it's winter time, and wintertime it gets cold in this apartment, and they don't like be bothered, and I can't take them outside to do reviews outside, so some reviews will be snakeless, but I will manage to get Stitch because I'm cleaning out their enclosures today, but anyways, sorry. Back to the review. Today we are reviewing on Snake Cinema Reviews My Octopus Teacher. Now this is a documentary on Netflix. I believe it was released like in September of this year, and it follows a videographer, photographer, filmmaker, Craig Foster, I believe. Hope I'm saying his name right, but it documents his life, his year of documenting in a friendship with a wild octopus off the coast of South Africa. So in the beginning, he just told a short, quick story about how his life was in turmoil and he lost all hope and didn't want to make films or movies anymore. He didn't want to work anymore. So he was off the coast of Africa swimming, and he started to, he met this wild octopus, and he was so fascinated with this creature that for an entire year, he would go out there every day to shoot videos and photography of this octopus. Basically, the timeline of her life, living her life for this whole year. And so every single day, and sometimes his son will go with him to go document the life of this octopus. And it shows how slowly but surely, and it gave us days of the timeline and everything, but it shows slowly but surely he bonded and gained the trust of this animal, to where this animal was just going through her life and didn't mind having a human swimming near her. And so he didn't want to interfere with her. He just wanted to document everything. And so he showed, her hunting. He showed times where she was being hunted by sharks that eat octopus, like certain sharks that was off on that coast. In one scene, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, dude, put that camera down and save that octopus. But I get it. It's a circle of life. It's nature. You gotta let wild animals be wild, and you gotta let nature run its course. So I get why he didn't. And he even mentioned there were times where he wanted to intervene, but he just let it happen and just showed it. And luckily, she didn't die from the shark attack, but there was one point where, she did get injured, and he documented her healing and recovering from that. And he showed all the different ways she tried to catch her prey, like the small fish, the crabs, the lobsters, all that stuff. So it was a very fascinating story. And, as the year went on, as he started to study these animals, outside of just being there, he studied her naturally, just going to film her every single day for a whole year. But he would do some extra studying outside of that when he's at home, because he just became so obsessed with this creature. And so when it got to the time where her life was about to come near an end, naturally, he already knew. And of course, he was sad and emotional, but he knew that, like I said, nature has to run its course. And so he documented all that. And when I tell you, by the end of that documentary, I had tears coming out my eyes. Like, I've watched a lot of documentaries, both nature and true crime, and inspirational, like sports, stuff like that. But I haven't had one this year that made me like genuinely cry over the subject matter or over whatever the topic was. And so I was literally crying over this octopus by the end of it. But it was a beautiful story. The cinematography, he's a real filmmaker and a real photographer. The footage he got, whether it was with his professional camera, with the GoPro, whatever, and granted, there were extra people who helped edit it to make it a movie and color grade and stuff like that. But the footage he got, just recording this octopus swimming, and along with the other fishes and sea creatures, it was beautiful. It was amazing. Music off the chain, perfect for a documentary. It was just real dope film. And even though it did make me cry, it was at the same time inspiring and inspirational, and very hopeful for, you know, life in general, for nature. Even though this octopus is no longer with us, you know, there are thousands of other octopuses and sea creatures out there in the world that are, you know, that are needing of our help. And there is a foundation that the guy now started, and they gave all that description and stuff, and I might put in the link in the bottom of this video if I can remind myself. But it was just a beautiful, beautiful story, a bond between a human and a wild animal. You know, certain animals are never meant to be domesticated. Certain animals are meant to be in the wild forever, but that does not mean that they cannot grow trust or grow a bond with human beings, and vice versa. And we can all learn from documentaries like this. Every documentary doesn't have to be dramatic and propaganda. Every documentary doesn't, especially about nature, doesn't have to be, you know, PETA inspired, you know, where it's all fear mongering and, you know, all those radical extremists like, oh my gosh, they're poachers, they're people killing. Like, sometimes we can watch a nature video with wildlife and it's a good ass story without all the dramatization and all the oh, the world is so crooked and evil and humans are evil. And like, this was a nice story between nature and humans that did not have all the, like, Blackfish. Everybody knows, well, people who know me personally know I hate that documentary because it was so filled with propaganda, so filled with drama, and it was more sensational than educational. And that's what I can't stand. Tiger King, I found it entertaining, but again, it was more sensational than educational. It was more antics and craziness and, you know, reality show-esque than it was educational. So it's good to have an animal or wildlife documentary that's uplifting, very inspirational, educational, and it makes you feel good. It doesn't make you feel guilty. It doesn't make you feel like woe is the world, or the world is so bad, or all humans are evil. You like, it's good to have a documentary about a bond between humans and wildlife that does not end with horrible corruption bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that stuff doesn't exist, but I'm just tired of seeing it. You know what I'm saying? I see it in real life, in the real world, on the news, stuff like that. Sometimes I want to see a documentary with wildlife and animals where, you know, even if it's not either it could be a happy ending, or, you know, if the animal passed away naturally, you know, via nature, via how it's supposed to, that's still a good happy ending in my book. I'm glad that the octopus didn't die of pollution or oil or, you know, plastic in the ocean. I'm glad it wasn't that type of story. And I just think that it was really dope. It was really dope. It was really nice. It was beautiful. A beautiful piece of work, a beautiful art, and something that you can play in schools and stuff and show people. So I feel like my octopus teacher, I feel like that octopus in a way is teaching not only the guy who documented her life, but the world. I feel like she is all of our teachers. So, and octopuses are very smart. They're very smart sea creatures. They're some of the smartest animals, in my opinion, my humble opinion, out there. So, you know, it's just, I loved it. I loved the documentary. It felt good to see a documentary that wasn't propaganda, wasn't fear mongering, wasn't human versus animal. Humans are the bad guys. And I mean, granted, we are the bad guys when it comes to nature, climate change, all that stuff. I'm not saying that shit doesn't exist. I believe that climate change exists. I believe that we as humans are polluting the earth and destroying wildlife and destroying animals. However, I'm tired. If I have to deal with it in the real world, if I have to fight for animals in the real world, I would like to see a story where I ain't gotta be confronted with that all the time. I like to watch a story where it's a feel-good story, it's a nice story, it's educational, it's inspiring, and it's a beautiful story. And if you have not seen it, it's on Netflix. Go watch it now. I give this documentary a good 10 out of 10 this year. One of my favorites out of all the documentaries I watch, and I've watched a lot. I think I've watched more documentaries than any other genre of film this year. So yeah, My Octopus Teacher on Netflix, 10 out of 10. go watch it if you have Netflix. It's a beautiful film, a beautiful story, and you might learn something. So that's it for me, Prince Elias. This is Stitch, and we will catch y'all in the next review. Peace.